So we got Serena, right? What's your name, brother?
My name is Tobe, Tobe.
We're live.
This isn't Serena. This is Miranda.
Yeah, I'm glad I asked her for the show. I'm
That's
sorry.
my mom.
We're live.
That's my mom.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
Right, thank you for telling me, right?
What's going on, y'all? Good evening, YouTube. Hope we got everybody aboard. This is Outlaw Radio. The People's Network presents Outlaw Radio. And I am Brother Talk to Teach, Listen to Learn, Your Truth Transfer Engineer. We're in here tonight getting healthy, wealthy, wise, free, happy, and full of joy. Thursday night edition, we got some guests with us. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity, brother, going to tell the people about yourself.
Cool. Hey, everyone. So I'm Tobe Ndika, and this is my wife.
Miranda Brown.
All right.
Yeah. So, we're here repping the Post Healthy team, and we just want to, take time to tell you about ourselves, our mission and the vision behind what we do. So, pretty much like Post Healthy actually started by a dream.
Hold your hand up if you black and you proud. I'm sorry, my brother, not to cut you. It is Outlaw Healthy in the Hood is what it's called tonight. My name is Kevin Barnes. I just host this little thing we do, this little thingamajig, where we try to inform people about every aspect of being black. First and foremost, we support black business. So shout out to 3041 North and Miss Serena Brown. Star 414-810-3131 is the numbers you call if you want to get involved. Everything from a birthday to a bar mitzvah. That's through the alphabet and back again. Right? So from B to B.
Element of P.
Right. Since so much nowadays. Right? But we 3041 North is an ardent supporter of the People's Network.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the love, and shout out to Chef Monique Brown, who supplied the just delicious crab broil.
Yeah,
that me and my man's here destroyed on the air.
Right.
Well, this is her sister.
Okay.
Right. So it's all 3041 North, and the People's Network presents. And I have these wonderful individuals here tonight representing the Get Motivated, Get Healthy Wellness Group on Facebook, and they have some stuff coming up, and they got some stuff to say. So you gonna listen, hit like, hit share, hit follow. Tell your mama Kevin them on.
Tell a friend.
She know what it means.
Yes.
I love you, Ernestine. I'm sorry.
Right off of Bobolink.
Right. See, there you go. There it is. We don't say Bobolink on here. We only say Capital Driver Action. So, my brother, I'm sorry I cut you off, but I want to say hi to my people. So, what's your name? Who are you? We're gonna talk about that.
We'll start from the top.
Right, what's your name?
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Yes, sir.
So once again, as I said before, my name is Tobe Ndika, and this is my wife.
Miranda Brown.
Miranda.
Awesome. So, pretty much what we're here to do, we're part of the Post Healthy team, and we're here representing the vision and mission behind the team as well and what we do. Yes. So, just for a brief background, Post Healthy actually sprung from an idea that Serena Brown, her mother, had.
Okay.
Shout out to her.
Right.
Shout out to moms.
Shout out to moms.
Gotta do that.
Gotta do that. So what she actually wanted to do, she saw that the city of Milwaukee, especially low-income neighborhoods and Black neighborhoods, were lacking health knowledge, and the healthy tools that they needed to live a better life. So she saw the need for that and chose to actually impact the neighborhood by connecting the people and doing what she can for the people with regards to health. And a lot of people tend to emphasize physical health, but what Post Healthy stands for is not just physical health, because as we all know, health isn't just physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's financial as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what Post Healthy does is we embody that and we try to spread the positive message. We encourage people to, live healthily, switch to better diets, exercise, so that they can live longer and enjoy life as it is,
Okay.
So, babe, you want to answer that?
Yes. And also, one of the reasons my mom did start Post Healthy was because she was actually having some health complications of her own. She was going through the scare of thinking that she had breast cancer for almost 2 years.
Oh, no. All right.
And that fear withheld her from being able to go to the hospital and get it checked out because she was so scared to figure out, if it was cancerous. And after 2 years, she had finally decided to go, and she found out, that it was benign. But she also found out that she was having complications with dehydration. So for my mom's lack of knowledge of the health, she was making her own self suffer because of her fear of not wanting to go to the hospital. So she's also trying to create that awareness of don't let problems within your body keep lingering and lingering, and then to the point where you don't know what's going on. But stay getting your health checkups, and just stay aware of what's going on within your body.
Yes, ma'am.
And as Black people, we do that too.
Yeah, well, the doctor, but there's a reason behind that, because I have to lean on the logic that you've lied to me about everything. So yeah, you'll sell me some high price medication to keep Big Pharma popping and tell me I need to get cut open and sliced open and experimented on, when you really have yet to really demonstrate your understanding of my biology as a Black person. So what happens is, once again, you create a disparity there in terms of the medical care. See, like most major hospitals have moved out of what used to be Milwaukee, St. Michael's, all these locally, and St. Joseph's, and there's healthcare conglomerates that have moved in, and everything is a quick clinic, right? So they've strategically removed that from our community, and we've kind of sat back and said, well, it's cool because I didn't want to go to the hospital anyways. So yeah, take that hospital out of my neighborhood,
especially the mental health.
Right. Oh, mental health. What a big one. So one very important aspect of the Get Motivated, Get Healthy Facebook group is nutrition.
True. And not natural nutrition.
Right.
Because like what we push, I mean, a lot of people are used to medication. Like literally, if you have a problem, like, okay, you have a headache, you take a Tylenol, right? Nobody ever tries to look for the natural ingredients that actually
Brother Bull,
pretty much. So like a lot of people tend to focus more on the pharmaceuticals, on the medical thing. But what Post Healthy is trying to push is natural products. Because like, if you think about it, all the drugs out there actually came from nature, right? Right. They synthesized it, they modified it, but it can still be found in nature as well. So what we emphasize is natural products, eating healthy, and just living life and enjoying life as well. We also focus on mental health, meditation, well-being, and happiness.
Okay.
So it's like an all-round thing as well. It's not just one track minded, if that makes sense.
Yes, and you can find the Get Motivated, Get Healthy posts all over my posts, like the People's News Network, which is our Facebook group, and my personal page, Kevin Barnes. You can find out if you want to join the group, you can get in the group. The group is, and there's a lot of people who kind of it's like living testimonials, because people start to post their food and say, well, look, I'm trying, and this is what I had for lunch. They be like, damn, I lost 7 pounds.
And some of it looked good, right? You know what I mean?
So, some of it, I'm like, that ain't even healthy.
Right.
Don't put that up there like that. I ain't gonna put a Whopper without cheese. I didn't get no cheese on my Whopper. But you can do that, because that's a sacrifice. Now, I want my brother Talk to jump in, but I did want to draw the line in the sand. Me, it wouldn't be Outlaw Radio if I ain't start something.
Yeah.
Where do you all sit at versus shout out to Next Level Vegans,
right?
Who are located in the Sherman, Phoenix, who came on the show with a delicious vegetarian seafood dish. It was delicious. We tore it up, just like we did the crab boil.
Sounds good.
Where are you all at in the group with veganism?
Okay, cool. That's a good question. So here's what I believe, right? And this is what I know from personal experience. Like, I've been weight training and living healthily for about 2.5, 3 years now. I also happen to have degrees in, I'm actually in the process of finishing my degrees in biology, biochemistry, and exercise science.
Yes, sir.
So I talk from experience. Honestly, veganism, a carnivorous diet, any diet actually, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily have to be bad. And this is what I mean by that. So you can be vegan and be healthy. You can incorporate meat and be healthy. Yeah. From what I've seen, it's all about balance and caloric needs. So everyone, right, has a different body shape, a different genetic makeup, a different height, a different age, a different weight. Right? Yeah. So based on all those factors, when you take that into account, everybody has a certain calorie limit that they need per day, So if you're able to work around it, and by the way, I still feel like we should all eat balanced diets, right? Get your vitamins in, get your essential minerals in, whatever you need to be healthy and functional. But with regards to weight loss, weight gain, stuff like that, it all comes down to caloric needs. So if you're taking your basic energy needs, like what you need, and it's not too hard to find out, because there are online calculators that you can literally plug in your details and they can help you do that. And it's free stuff. You can literally Google it right now if you wanted to.
If there's one that you suggest over the others before, at some point I'd like you to.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Usually, actually, MyFitnessPal is a good app that you could actually use to do that. It really helps with stuff like that as well, and I think it would be really interesting. So based on that, if you know, like, you know, your daily caloric needs and stuff, you could actually program your diet in a way that you can make progress with regards to, you know, whatever you want, whether it's to lose weight. So some people will actually want to gain weight because they're too skinny, you know, because it's actually both ways. It's not just weight loss; it could be weight gain.
I've known people like
that. Or you know, if you just want to be fitter and faster and you need more energy as well. So, you know, with regards to veganism, I think it's cool. It could be religious or it could just be, okay, I want to be vegan. You know, if that's what you want, go for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, but I also think there's nothing wrong with like incorporating a bit of meat as well. You know,
that's what I wanted to hear you say.
I know you wanted.
That's what I wanted to hear you say.
That's what he was looking for. He tried to bring you down that path to make sure.
You good. You good. Like, you don't have to put your needs. You know, you don't got to.
You'll be back on the side.
I might not be. We'll see.
Matter of fact, we got a microphone available.
You know,
four hosts.
No, let me tell you. For me, like I've tried to give up meat. Like it's been about 2 months for me, right? And so I just eat fish at this point, as far as the meats go. And I thought I'd see a little bit more of a difference, right? So here, but as to lean on something you were saying earlier, like one thing that we learned in school was the periodic table, right? So we learned that everything comes from animal, vegetable, or mineral. So at some point or another, whatever they put in the pill, they get from someplace. You know what I mean? And so the challenge is to go find out what herb, what fruit, what mineral has it before they put it in pill form. So I totally agree with you on that. And even though we should go see the doctor, because sometimes doctors can diagnose things that we may be ignorant about, right? But we still should understand that doctors just practice medicine. True. And so what they say is not the end all be all. So so I actually joined the group today, right?
Interesting. And
so I liked a lot of what you were saying. And let me tell you, and I still eat fish to this point, so I won't call myself a vegan. But I'm trying to get in the process, man. So I appreciate y'all coming by and sharing your knowledge, because my name is Talk to Teach, but this is a listen to learn occasion for me. So I appreciate y'all being here.
And I said that because we do a show on Wednesdays called The Warrior Report. Myself and Brother Kamar Carter, who's our co-host. And that's his detox, his herbal detox. Jason, shoot me that right quick.
Yes, sir.
This is his herbal detox right here, right? And this has, you know, for you conscious root knowing people, burdock root, blue vervain, dandelion leaf, sarsaparilla, chaparral, dandelion root. It's a detox, and then we got the vitality capsules.
And shield like it too.
Right, and this is about your libido, right?
That's
so
what I said.
Bunch of ingredients in here. I ain't gonna go into detail about it because this is a family show tonight. We're normally X-rated. The number for Brother Kamar with these herbs is 414-949-2122. It's 414-949-2122. Nature's Mature Herbs.
Nice.
Our co-host, right? Just off tonight.
That's it. Yeah.
Doing the knowledge.
Shout out, bro. Shout out, Keith Minor.
And DAMGNT.
Dante Chestnut.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Brother Tef.
Watch out for part 2 of our docu-series.
Listen, we got
Outlaw TV.
We appreciate all the support. We got some big things coming, you know what I mean? So appreciate the love, y'all. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
But you have a very interesting accent. Where are you from?
Good question. So I'm actually from Nigeria, West Africa, right?
Oh,
my brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's a whole line of other questions, I guess.
I'm just to add something really quick to my earlier comments as well. So with regards to, like, you know, whatever diet you like choose to be a part of or to participate in, it all comes down, in my opinion, to moderation. Like, once again, like I said, you know, every amount of food you eat has a caloric attachment to it. It has a certain amount of energy that your body breaks down when you digest it, right? So personally, what I do, and this is my experience, like, she knows, she's my wife, so obviously she knows what I do. I actually weigh my food, and I know it's strange because not a lot of people do it, but I actually can tell you down to the grams what I had for breakfast this morning. Like this morning, I had 240 grams of oats.
I'm not on that level yet, just to let you know.
Okay, not many people are. I would say,
no,
you know what I mean?
It's like 200 dudes out there like me too.
Right. I gotta talk to the people.
Yeah. So like,
He's advanced.
for breakfast this morning, I had 240 grams of oatmeal and 50 grams of protein powder. So I actually like know this stuff, and that has like like I think about like 50 grams of carbs or like 100 grams of carbs, 30 grams of protein, stuff like that. But that's what I use my app because I don't have to remember everything because that's what the app does for me. I just type it in.
It's your app?
Yeah, it's free.
You made it?
No, it's not. No, don't get me wrong.
I was gonna say, let's plug that. Let's plug that.
No. It's
my Fitness Pal.
No, it's my Fitness Pal. No, it's not my app. I'm not taking credit for it.
I was gonna say, yes, he got an app.
Real quick with the protein powder. Is it a whey? Is it soy? Is it?
Oh, okay. I like whey. I actually I mix it up. So sometimes I take whey. Sometimes I take like plant protein. So it varies.
Okay.
Yeah, so that like I said, anything that works for you, whatever you like, you can go for it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of trial and error involved in what works for you, though, because before you do that, you're gonna find a whole lot of stuff that doesn't work. For you.
True. You may not like the flavor,
Well,
I would be ashamed of what all the food I ate in a day weighed. Like I would be ashamed to tell people that.
Oh,
like if it was like right now, weigh up all the stuff you ate, and don't let it be like no holiday or a Friday or a Tuesday or Monday or Wednesday. I'm just saying, like you think about it, right? Like sunshine 2 hours ago, I'm saying, like I'd be like, oh snap! No wonder I'm fat. Look at how much all the food I just ate weighs. Like,
it's crazy.
You just sent me in a whole different direction with that because I'm like, dude, I be thinking about it in like just what you ate, right? Like not how much it weighed, but just what it was. Mm-hmm. So I knew if I had bacon and eggs or steak and eggs for breakfast. Then later on that day, we was out and about with the family. We ate Burger King. We had burgers. We had
the Impossible Whopper.
Well, no, I'm going to get into that. That's what I'm driving to. Mm-hmm. So I know at the end of the day, I'm going to sit around, especially late at night when everybody's sleeping. I'm like, I'm finna warm some of them chicken wings up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there dipping them in hot sauce, watching snowfall or something. And I'm saying, man, I ate plenty stuff today. They never said weigh it up because I'd be like, oh, no. So that's a strategy, man. Like
it is.
It's a very if you start to do that and say, man, I can understand why I am the way I look at all the stuff I take into my body, and you put some of it out, but it don't weigh as much as it did before with it. So you taught your boy something. Go ahead, Jason.
No, I'm.
Well, you want to know about the Impossible Whopper?
Yes.
Now this is my thing with vegans.
Okay.
First of all, y'all way too aggressive, right? Too judgmental. Shout out to next level vegans. But
wait, why would you give him a shout out after you said it? Go ahead.
Because I love it. That food's delicious, and that's my sister. And we're gonna be at the Sherman Phoenix.
Yes, we will.
Watch it.
Hey.
So, but like the Impossible Whopper and these Impossible Wings and all this stuff, once it becomes mass produced, now that's the consumer trend. So they're gonna mass produce it, and this is based on soy, and it has a high level of sodium in it. It's a higher
than the regular Whopper.
And they say, but no, here's a healthy Whopper. They still got the bread, the mayo, ketchup, the cheese.
Well, you
still ate fries.
Right.
So in essence, it's really not a healthy alternative. So vegans be like, no, here goes some vegan pepper steak. What is this meat made out of? Well, it's made from soy base and other stuff. And I say, I might as well just eat real beef.
But in addition to that, just on the back of what you said, before they came out with the Impossible Meat and all that stuff, weren't we trying to get away from GMOs?
That's what I was gonna say.
Because ultimately, it
seems like it would be manufactured more to taste more like meat because it's like plant based. So that's why I would think it'd be manufactured more, if anything.
So it's still genetically modified.
It's the plant part they talking about a soybean,
which was something we were trying to get away from.
What plant is it made out of? The plant you're talking about is the soybean. That's not healthy for you.
Well, then you can look into soy too, because Dr. Sebi is going to say that soy is a man-made.
I hope he don't say it now because he's deceased.
he has said it many times.
Go get the VCR tapes.
Yeah.
It's Googleable.
Yeah, and there are some studies that link. I mean, okay, by the way, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say like quit soy totally. Like, I feel like if you, once again, it's about moderation, so don't overdo it.
Yes, sir.
But there are some studies, I believe, that link soy to cancer.
Yes,
which is what I understood.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I guess what I would say with regards to soy is like, don't overdo it. Take it in moderation sometimes.
Now, some might say, a little bit of poison is still not good.
I mean, yeah, but true. But like that's the thing with cancer causing agents, though. Like, okay, it doesn't give you cancer until you overdo it.
Okay.
So if you do it in like moderate amounts, it's actually fine. Your body can digest soy. Like, soy is a food at the end of the day, so your body was made to digest it.
Mm-hmm. So it's like Hennessy. You drink a little bit at a time, you be good. Every now and then.
No, true. Yeah, no. Right. Yeah, I agree.
You drink Hennessy?
No, I don't.
You can't wait.
I'm just
no. You're good, but like I'm actually like underage, so that's why I'm actually just funny.
Really.
I'm funny. Yeah. So that's why.
Thank you for making me know how old I am right now. Like,
I would have reminded you.
Right, well, you're older than me. Yeah, go ahead now.
Being from Nigeria, being from West Africa, what's the difference in the foods? You know what I mean? And I mean, trying to go meatless or whatever, I found like, my wheelhouse was real small. These were the foods I was eating over and over. We eliminated some of those. What's available? So what's the difference between the food that's available here versus where you come from?
That's an interesting question. Well, I mean, with regards to food, like, well, okay, the breakdown is the same, and this is what I mean by that, right? Like, you still have like your essential stuff. Like, in a way, some of our foods are really like starchy, like,
absolutely,
like starch based. They're also oil based as well. So, I mean, I'm trying to see the best way to explain this. I feel like if some of the foods I grew up with eating back home were brought here and like given to people to try out, it wouldn't be that bad because there are some like similarities. Take for instance like jambalaya, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So back home we have something called jollof rice. It's pretty much like the same thing. Like it still has that yellowish color. It's still like a little bit oil based, stuff like that. Still has like assorted meats, fish, vegetables, and stuff like that. So there is some crossover. Between food back home and food here. So there's a similarity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I actually have an interesting question. Which one do you prefer?
Oh,
that's a good question. I mean,
you gonna do that here, baby?
No.
That's a white question.
I also asked them in regards to like which one do you think is better for your like health lifestyle now too?
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like it comes down to how it's made. You could actually like you can find ways to make jollof rice and jambalaya in a way that it's not too calorically dense. You know? So in my opinion, like either is fine. It just depends on how it's made.
Okay.
So if you got to the point where taste is kind of secondary for you,
what
like
you want the crib or
you know what I mean? You can endure some, it's healthy, but so it doesn't have to taste delicious. Is that right?
Yeah. Good to you.
Because you gave us.
So let's just put it in that jambalaya or what did you call it?
Jollof rice.
Which one would you rather have?
That's the thing. I don't know.
I actually would go with jollof rice. Honestly,
it's
actually yours.
It sounds good.
It's good.
It's delicious.
It sounds good. And you know what? The connection between this and what you just spoke of is the fact that I'm about to step out here a little bit as the Negro Whisperer. This is one of the main reasons why you owe us reparations. Because we have no understanding of a traditional diet, which is catered to and unique to our physiology as Black people. You don't know how to work this. You don't know how to tell me nothing about this. But that food that they've eaten over there traditionally for thousands of years they're healthier than us in some cases and in some areas.
True.
Right? But by and large, they're not the hypertension and the diabetes
high
and the
blood
cancer,
pressure, high sugar,
which is what kills us here. They like, nah, well, we got something for that. We'll go out here and make something, boom. And we don't even know none of that because we were raised on what I like to call slave food.
Absolutely.
Our diet
or soul food,
spare parts.
Which originated from slave food.
Absolutely.
And that's how they knew to do it. Like somewhere, some way,
Exactly.
a grandmother, a great-great-grandmama in Africa knew how to cook maybe a pig foot and make it be able to sustain us.
A wild
But over
boar.
here, all you had was that pig foot and nothing else. So you had to eat it how
And
it
the chitlins,
was.
the intestines, the things that they threw away.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here, because we
Hog head
we
cheese, which I
survivors,
love, by the way.
we learn how to do it and make it taste good to us, and
It's unhealthy for us.
Well, but now we live in a day of information where we have information that our great grand people didn't have, right?
Okay.
And so we able to take advantage of that.
So we don't gotta eat pigtails no more.
We
y'all.
don't. So
We's free.
Yeah,
Yeah, and now
give us free.
cool. And now that you mentioned it, which I think is really interesting, right? We've all been talking about health and the basics behind health.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually want to use the opportunity, and babe, obviously, back me up on this.
Mm-hmm.
Also share with me. I also want to use the opportunity to introduce the seminar we have coming up for
Yes.
Basic Health 101.
Yes.
On the 28th of September.
1 to 3, right?
Yeah, 1 to 3
Yes,
p.m.
sir. Yes, I'm planning on coming. Tell us about it.
Awesome. So, babe,
babe.
you want to talk about it, or do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah. So just explain to them what topics you're going to be covering under basic health. So it is basic health 101. So basic terms, terminology, even to understand your body, to understand what vitamins you should be using and things like that.
Yeah, hold it up.
Post healthy. My sister, I can show it, but it be considered lingerie if I wore it.
Put it
Shout out to Serena. We gotta get a couple more X's in this. Post healthy. But it's 1 hour t-shirts. We got a collection now of people who come.
That's hilarious.
But
Yeah.
the seminar.
If you got singles, come on.
Y'all go, no. You're not my pimp. Come on in, give him a dollar. He put the t-shirt on. No, the seminar that's coming on the 28th of September, right?
Yeah.
From 1 to 3, right?
Yeah, 1 to 3 p.m.
Now, tell us all, because I know my sister says food and all this. Tell us
Food,
all about it.
speakers, come on.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna break it down for you. So pretty much, the seminar is taking place at the 3041 North Event Center.
5-star.
5-star back. So it's well catered, well taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much what the seminar is going to be doing. The purpose of the seminar is to serve as a basic introduction to a healthy lifestyle.
Yes,
so
sir.
the problem in most low income neighborhoods and most societies is the fact that people want to live healthy. People generally want to live a healthier, happier life, but they don't know what to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or where to start.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is to pretty much lay the foundation so that people can at least have some knowledge about what to do for themselves.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Health 101, pretty much. And we will be touching the areas of physical health, mental health, emotional health, stuff like that, pretty much. And our goal is to give people enough knowledge. I mean, people probably at the end, they may not be experts, probably because expertise takes time, but we're going to give them foundational knowledge to at least lead them in the right direction so that they can begin their journey.
Yes, sir.
So that's the goal. We're going to go into, the food groups, vitamins, what's good for you, what's not necessarily good for you, and how to balance it all out.
So are these breakout sessions? Are these workshops? Are these, how's this structured?
It's actually more like a mix of both. So I'm going to be speaking that day.
Okay.
I'm going to be speaking to the people as well. And so there is going to be a seminar, for the speaker and stuff. Then there are actually going to be a couple of vendors and booths. So these t-shirts, our Post Healthy t-shirts, also have a couple of amazing smoothies made by Serena Brown. Lovely smoothies.
Lovely.
Yeah. We're also going to have a couple of water bottles as well.
Yes.
So
merchandise
as well. And by the way, just so y'all know, Post Healthy is a nonprofit. So we do appreciate all your donations. Well, you can donate by copying a t-shirt or by, getting a smoothie, getting a water bottle, whatever you can do,
Participate.
To help the movement, to help the community. Because at the end of the day, it isn't about us. We're not doing it for the money. We're going to use that money to actually pour back into the community and do more for the people.
And I know I'm guilty of this too, especially when we're talking to our people. We get apprehensive about asking for money. We don't want to come off like that.
True.
But the fact of the matter is, did you see the lines in Popeyes? You know what I'm saying? For chicken sandwich. You know what I'm saying? So they got it. So listen, bring 2, 3, 4.
Actually, I haven't tried it.
I haven't tried it because it was sold out when I did one.
Yeah, actually, I haven't tried
You
it.
was going for it.
I was going to try.
How was you going to explain that to him?
I'm fine. I would have eaten it too.
You would have waited, right? How much you would have waited?
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it's all about knowing what to
Right.
do, you know.
Man, I just ate 350 ounces of chicken.
But my thing is, black people got money to spend. Let's stop being apprehensive. Y'all, come on. The same way y'all supported that chicken sandwich at Popeyes, don't give a damn about y'all.
Yeah.
Come on out, and you know what I'm saying, and do this
And
thing.
you know
here.
what's beautiful? We don't get credit because nobody gives us credit anyways.
Yeah.
As people of color.
Yeah.
That's why we got to, pat ourselves on the back. There's more of a movement now amongst black people to really figure this diet thing out than there has been in a very long time.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people, and you know they fat. I'm fat too. We looking at each other. We both fat. We like, man, we gotta do better. But we at Wendy's when we say it. You know what I mean? But at least
ordering
we
a meatless double days, right? You know.
Give me an impossible double.
Impossible.
And there's a reason they call it impossible.
It still costs the same, right? Right.
Well, it costs more.
But I'm saying, for us people of color, there's an awakening that
it's happening.
It's not getting, people ain't giving it credit.
You won't see it on the news. They're not gonna advertise.
Right, which is why I brought in the next level vegans.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Kamar, who's on here, is a straight vegan, and he's adamant about the lifestyle, and that's why I tease him all the time. Like, vegans gotta calm down. Y'all be tripping. But there's a movement amongst us, even here, even my wife. My wife is, she's cut loose of beef and pork, and she's every turn. I'm just like, we ain't. You shouldn't be eating that. We got to watch this. And I'm like, hey, look, we'll start tomorrow.
Right.
But
that's real.
But there's a movement. And because we don't want our kids, I don't personally. And love my grandmama, daddy, mama, all y'all. Mississippi is where my family's from. I grew up on collard greens. My mother cooked with lard. She cooked with lard.
Lard is not good.
She didn't cook with vegetable oil. When my mama fried some chicken, she fried it in lard, right? And it had whatever it took to make it taste of seasoning salt, garlic salt, table salt, pepper.
Dang.
I put hot sauce on it. We probably had some with gravy.
Just some straight sodium. We just poured sodium.
Right.
We've been there.
And really, it was comfort food. She wasn't trying to kill me. She wasn't saying, "Oh, I want you to be fat and die from diabetes one day." This is what she knew, right?
Yeah.
So we're now teaching our kids, because our kids now are really way over the top, more so than us, because we didn't have a balance on processed food. Our kids are the microwave generation. They get more processed food than anything. So you see a lot of black people say, man, how do I stop this? How do I, stop Big Mama from actually being really big? That's why we call her Big Mama. Right. Like her ankles and her calves is like, damn, Big Mama. Like, no. But nobody says no.
No, because she'll
Big Mama just cook it and eat it.
You better eat it. She made you. She'll whoop you. Yeah.
So traditionally, I like this generation, my generation. I'm a Gen Xer. You a dub, so you like post millennial on me. Like I know I'm crossing.
Actually,
over,
I thought you was more like a Y. You got how you?
No, I'm X. I'm X.
I think I'm Z actually. I should be Gen Z.
Yeah, well, you and my
Z.
daughter's 16. She always remind me that I'm not a millennial. First of all, because I'm like, okay,
yeah,
well,
I think Z is from like 96.
Yeah,
96.
When we was both full grown.
Well, yeah.
But
they was calling us X though, because we was the first ones.
We're Gen X,
right? So when they were saying that you would be the first generation and not do better than your forefathers, that's why they called you X and all that stuff. So little shots they was giving.
I just want to applaud black people, and that's why this seminar is happening. Because we've empowered ourselves to the point where now ignorance can't be your excuse anymore.
Yeah, because now you got the knowledge,
Knowing this,
it's here.
And
that's why I want to push it, because I want black people. Like, I'm gonna mess around. When is it? It's the
28th. So it's a Saturday.
On a Saturday. So you ain't got no excuse.
Well, I don't know. I got to check my calendar.
No, look. Have you call my people. We'll work it out.
No. I mean, because I really would like to be there, because I would like to hear some of the seminar.
When you speak, one of the things I like to lay before you as a man with children, how can you get your kids to drink water?
That's a good question.
Don't buy no soda.
Let me tell you, they will go thirsty. They don't want to drink water. Like, I seen a post that kind of reiterated this, but when you was young, you thought like, coffee was an adult drink. You wanted some of that. And then alcohol, you got old enough, like, oh yeah. The most adult drink that there is water. Because no kid wants to drink water. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't until you become older that you can appreciate a glass of water, right?
I mean, honestly, make it fun for them. Like, I'm trying to see. So, water, there are many things like you can dissolve in water. Like, you can, you know those like vitamin C tablets, the ones that have really nice taste?
Yes, sir.
So, obviously, like, it's a vitamin C tablet, so it's actually good for you. It's vitamin C. So if you want to trick your kids into drinking water, just dissolve one of those tablets in a glass of water, give it to them to take to school or whatever they do. And to them, it's it's more like a natural sweetness, not an artificial sweetness, because it does come from the, oranges and stuff.
Now, what I want to ask you now may be considered a dumb question.
No question.
We beg you.
When I was when I was coming up, like, my logic was, it's water and Kool-Aid, it's water and soda, right? You know what I'm saying? And so when I got older, I still kind of investigated this thing, and to my knowledge, I understood that the difference between water is it's pure, and so it doesn't have to go through the digestive. It can come straight, gives a direct line, right? And so when you begin to put things in water, doesn't that take it back to a Kool-Aid? Is water and Kool-Aid is water and soda, and it sends it through the digestive system?
That's a good question. I mean, not necessarily, because let me talk about how, like, water is absorbed by the body.
Yes, sir.
So when you drink, like, a glass of water, right, it goes down your esophagus and stuff, goes to your stomach. It's actually reabsorbed by your kidneys.
Okay.
So your body takes some of the water back, and then you pee the rest out. Whatever is excess, whatever your body doesn't need.
Yes, sir.
So if you add vitamin C, this is how it's going to go through. Once again, like, it's a vitamin C dissolved pill. So it's not like sugar or Kool-Aid. It's actually, and vitamins are obviously, they're antioxidants. Vitamin C actually helps your body fight cancerous cells.
Yes,
so it's really good for you. So pretty much when you add the vitamin C to the water is still there, but just the vitamin C particles were scattered in the water. So your body, like, your body knows how to differentiate. And this is putting it in layman terms.
No,
right?
That's what I need.
No, you're totally fine. But you're
And so also, just to make sure, because I'm still not where I used to be with help and knowledge, but
yeah.
We all learn.
With the vitamin C, does it, when it gets dispersed, does it go to the same area as if you were to drink Kool-Aid? Would it disperse in the same area, or because Kool-Aid has more sugar, would that go somewhere else?
No, that's a good question. Well, okay, both sugars and vitamins are reabsorbed by the kidney, but the way that they're stored are different.
Okay.
Because what your body does with sugar is, like, usually for the most part, your body, like, stores it in form of fat, or usually your body breaks down sugar to give energy. That's where we get energy from, simple sugars, when your body breaks them down.
Yes, sir.
Vitamins, on the other hand, we have different kinds of vitamins, but vitamin C, the way your body actually does it is vitamins are absorbed by the cells themselves, right? And vitamins actually float within the circulatory system. So the vitamin C is going to be in your blood, in your body fluids, stuff like that.
But the Kool-Aid juice wouldn't go there. The Kool-Aid,
because of the sugar.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
don't get me wrong though. Like, don't get me wrong. Some Kool-Aid will be in your blood system, but it's going to be stored as fat for the most part.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to determine what is the difference between how does my body differentiate water from Kool-Aid, from soda, from milk, from whatever. Yeah, because everything has to have is a certain amount of water in it.
And it pretty much comes down to, like, the particles, because water is just water, right?
Right. So it gets a pass, right? It doesn't go through many of those things. It comes straight out.
True.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Then when you think about things like milk, milk pretty much, you can break down milk to, like, milk obviously has some water content to it, but there's also, like, fat molecules, protein molecules, different things in the milk. So your body processes those nutrients in different ways. If that makes sense.
Yeah, y'all just ruined a bowl of cereal.
No. Once again.
Because now I gotta weigh a cereal.
Well, no, we didn't even told you about the milk being flammable.
But I'm trying to be like my brother, man.
But
that's how you see me. I'm gonna be like him. I'm gonna be like him.
He's a stubborn young man.
Right? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You ever felt useless?
Right.
Young black man.
We mean that as a compliment.
Young man from Nigeria with an understanding of nutrition in the house. Like, old man. Go ahead.
Real talk.
Yeah, man. But I mean, because I wanted to ask this. We talked about water. On a serious tip.
Yeah.
We know right now here in Milwaukee we have a very serious issue with our water. And then we were told to drink bottled water, but then we were told that bottled water that had sat, and you don't know how long that in whatever. It
has to be spring water.
And if it's supposed to be in the sun on plastic with water inside of it, creates, adverse effects. So once again, black people are totally confused because there's artesian water in the store. There's Fuji. Fiji,
all these different
there's smart water.
My understanding needs to be
water.
spring water directly from a spring, right? That's to my understanding, was the most pure water that you're gonna get. When they say you can look on the bottom, they say it is bottled on site.
But if I was selling water, I would say it's spring water.
You would, and you
When you
in the
no
bathroom,
matter where you got it from,
filling up the bottles, right?
Right, spring water.
True, and like with
the spring.
Yeah, and with companies like this, honestly, sometimes it may be hard to regulate because like there are some like companies that don't necessarily have to go through FDA approval.
Ooh, okay.
Just so you guys know, like not
everything is not FDA approved.
Everything is not FDA approved. Just so you know.
Well, let me tell you, I don't have a great deal of faith in the FDA anyway, because the FDA allows fluoride in your water and there's other things that's going on too with FDA. But I want to ask you, is there any, because I know you eat well and you pay attention to what you eat, is there any vitamin that you take?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, I mean, so here's my thing with vitamins, right? There are like daily recommendations for what you need.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my fault, bro.
You good?
And you could actually
we over here touching elbows.
We hate when we touch.
It's like the shower curtain touching me over here.
I'm in here. Close the door. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. We digress. No fault.
Now you good. So like for every vitamin, like there are like daily allotments, which can actually be found in natural sources. So here's my thing, right? When it comes to vitamins, there's supplementation and then there's natural sources. In my opinion, supplements, I mean, there are some good ones and there are some bad ones. That's the truth.
Which ones do you take?
Which ones I take? Okay. I tend to stay more on the natural side. I try to stay like away from supplements. Not that by the way, don't misquote me. Everyone that's watching, I'm not saying all supplement companies are bad.
You said everybody.
Yeah, it's just a preference because I take vitamins, but it's just a preference.
Well, maybe I should ask you, what vitamins do you take?
I take vitamin C a lot.
Vitamin C.
I take vitamin C, yes, but I also take probiotics daily. So just like regular probiotic nutritional.
Yeah, that helps with digestion.
That's intestinal. Right? I was about to say that's right.
Yeah, that helps with digestion because the bacteria breaks down the food for you.
Because I know it's a lot of dieting, and you guys seem to just pay special attention. But like, how do you make sure you get your daily allotment of chromium? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess
I'm sorry, I didn't say nigga on the top.
Yeah.
Said chromium.
No, bro. I mean, okay. So personally, though,
yes, sir.
The reason why, I do take some supplements myself. But the reason why I supplement sometimes is because supplementation makes it easier to hit your daily allotment.
Absolutely.
Because literally, like when you pick up a supplement, like and obviously I'm talking about the FDA approved ones or the ones that have like better credibility. When you buy it from like let's say your local Walmart or wherever you get your food from, right? You look at the back of the bottle, you pretty much see everything that's in there and the daily allotments, right? This has this much vitamin B, this much chromium, this much manganese, molybdenum, whatever your body needs. So the reason why I personally supplement is because it's easier for me. Like you don't have to count everything down to the T because they already tell you like, okay, this is what's in it. This is what you need. But I also obviously mix that with natural sources as well because once again it's from Mother Nature, so that's just my preference.
Okay.
And again, it's just, in my opinion, less processed compared to all the things that supplements have to go through.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, and that's honestly one of the downfalls of technology because nowadays even the vegetables we eat have some degree of processing, and then whether it comes to like
you can't be so
whether it comes to like like spraying herbicides to like keep pests away. There is some form of chemical that had contact with it at some point in time.
Until we begin to have gardens in our backyard and grow our own food. Even then it's gonna be hard to get
buy your fertilizer from the store.
And that's the thing. Even then it's
the seeds, right?
Yeah.
They messing with the seeds.
Yeah, they could be messing with the seeds. And even then, like even the soil, the ground they're into, like it's all polluted.
Yes, sir.
Because the ground has water. The water has lead.
Is it that way in Nigeria?
I mean, honestly, yes and no. This is what I mean by that. It's that way, but less. Because
Not to the degree we
not to
have
the
it
degree
here.
we have here. Because obviously, like the USA, it's a like more technological based company. Not company,
Corporation.
country, corporation,
Right,
stuff like that.
Mhm.
My bad. That was a misstep.
No, that was good. That's good. I
Yeah.
had it
So pretty much like since technological variances are different,
there.
it's not as bad home compared to the way it is here.
Oh,
But I also want to reiterate, it's not just like an American problem. Pollution is a world problem at this point because
No doubt.
yeah, it's everywhere. Like okay, so I'm actually taking an ecology class, right? And like ecology is
Fukushima.
ecology
God
is
bless you.
yeah,
I wasn't cussing. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Whatever that reactor, they're
Yeah.
dumping that nuclear waste.
Yeah,
in the ocean.
Nagasaki and Fukushima, right?
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah,
Fukushima.
that's literally
Try
like
to
the
see-
nuclear
No, I
warfare.
thought you tried to cuss me out on the side.
No, you good. It's a place.
I tell you that at the show. I
You
heard what
cuss
you
me out
said,
for real.
Yeah, so yeah, honestly, pollution is like more like a world problem at this
Mhm.
point because there is, I mean, the world as a whole has
And China
advanced
just said we're not
technologically.
taking no more of y'all shit, right?
Yeah,
You know what I
so
mean?
it's
You
like,
have to
you know,
find someplace
It's
else.
crazy. Like you can hardly find any water sample that doesn't have some degree of like microplastic in it at some point.
Mhm.
So I mean, you can only like do your best, like maintain your water. And
This is
just-
why you have to come
Yeah.
to the seminar
Yes.
live at
On the
3021
28th.
North.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
this is
28th.
we're gonna be spilling
Saturday.
out this knowledge.
This brother will be speaking.
Mhm.
This show will be plastered everywhere. I will be sharing it. I will be putting it
Y'all
all over
share it.
y'all social media.
Boom, boom, boom.
You don't want me to post in your group, kick me out.
Yeah.
I'm putting the show in there
Mhm.
because we really try to be even keel. Because I always say our show covers a very interesting spectrum because I'm more of a socio-political cat. I'm more of a legislative revolutionary, if you will. My brother here is a hardline black nationalist militant with an attitude.
Wow.
That's
With
booty
an
and
attitude.
that's loud. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I've been
But
called,
then my
I've
other
been
brother-
called worse by better. Go ahead.
My other brother Kamar is more of the herbalist. And he keeps us centered on
Yes.
That's
this
good.
kind of stuff.
That's
And
good.
so
Be like, how's your colon?
I added that to my show, to the People's Network, because of Miss Serena Brown.
Mhm.
People don't know that because when
Oh.
she started to get motivated, get healthy group,
Mhm.
she was like, well, I'm going to do this. This is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. And I want you to support me. And I want your show to support me.
Mhm.
So I said, because 3041 North and Mr. Terry, that's family. So I'm
Good
like,
stuff.
yeah. But then after I started seeing the posts and seeing what she was doing, I said, man, I really need to focus on that. Like, because I'm old. Like, I really need to be taking heed to what I'm taking into my body.
Mhm.
And that's when Kamar comes in and we would get in tune with
Nice.
wellness.
Mhm.
Of course, we ate a crab boil along the way. You would have too.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, I had some of my sister crab boils
I was
too.
gonna say, don't
Oh, we
play.
destroyed one
Yeah.
live on here.
I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it
that-
all.
Did you hear
It
him
was-
smacking?
oh,
You heard
I
him
was
smacking
watching
that
you guys.
I
Yes.
hope you heard me say come back.
That was driving me crazy. Like my mama would have hit you with a shoe.
Right.
Right.
Meanwhile, you was in the back trying to
But,
smack
but I
off
wasn't
the mic.
smacking, right? It's quietly
It
devouring.
was just sauce all over.
It was just so-
Teamwork makes the dream work, man.
Absolutely.
Black business has to support black business.
Yes.
There has to be a platform for a young brother like this to be able to
Knowledgeable
to
brother.
put this out here.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and that's what we try to
Yeah,
provide.
and just to go
People's
off what
Network.
what you said as well. So for all y'all that are interested, in the group and like what we our mission and our vision.
I joined today. Come up.
Yeah,
with it.
cool. So I actually want to tell you how to join the Facebook group.
Mhm, mhm.
So it's really simple. Honestly, once you log on to Facebook, just go in the search description, search "get motivated" and "get healthy." Just type it
There
in
you
the
go.
search and "get healthy," right?
Yes, sir.
So once you type it on, obviously like multiple things are gonna come up.
Mhm.
But how you know it's our group is
Look
based
for
on
that
the
logo.
Look
Look
at
for
this
the
logo.
logo.
Yeah.
So
That's
once
what's
you
up.
see like the Post Healthy logo, it's
Mhm.
pretty much our business group.
Mhm.
So what you just gotta do, just click on join the group. I'm an administrator in the group, so I'm probably gonna see it. And once I see it, we welcome everyone. No discrimination. It doesn't matter what race you are. Like
Get
join.
healthy.
At the end of the day, we're all family. We're helping everyone grow. So just feel free to join the group as well. And we also have a page. So it's both a group and a page. The reason why I encourage people to join both is because on the page and sometimes in the group as well, you actually see the events we have coming up for the community so that you can be like,
to get the alerts.
Yeah,
right?
get the alerts, being kept updated and stuff. So it's pretty much the same thing for the page. What you're going to type in the search box is get motivated, with a comma, get healthy. So it's get motivated, comma, get healthy.
Okay.
Right?
Versus the and.
Yeah, versus the and, exactly.
Was I saying and?
No, and is for the
I
group,
feel
though.
like y'all trying to check me, like you've been saying the name of the group wrong.
Nah, you good. You good.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, no,
I'll tell you after the show.
I'm not like a vegan. I'm not aggressive like that, right? Because they want some meat.
You're more like a Christian.
That's
right?
why
not aggressive.
no, that's why vegans be so grouchy. That's their secret. They so aggressive because they really want some meat. You want a sandwich. You can't stand to see me eat the corned beef.
You just called them vegans tonight, didn't you?
I love vegans, man. I love vegans, man.
Cool.
It's like he got jumped by some vegans when he was younger, right?
You got a personal vendetta. Very personal.
Hit me with some burnout group.
But let me. I do have a question though, because you touched on it, like you like we about all people, and that's. But is there, in your understanding, a difference in health and what people should and shouldn't eat in the races, right? Is there something healthy that is healthy for a Caucasoid, right? That's not healthy for a Mongoloid, right?
That's a good question. Okay, cool. So honestly, and I'll be real with you, I know like we all have racial divides and everything, but when it comes down to the genetics, at the end of the day, and I'll be real, I know this from like a biology student.
Yes, sir.
White people and black people, there's only like a
It's
zero.
a drum roll. Like
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Everybody's like,
we're waiting to hear you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. There is like a 0.0001% difference between both races. And okay, you know what's interesting, right? Chimpanzees. I'm talking about like apes, chimpanzees. Our genome, our genetic makeup is like only a 1% difference from theirs.
woo.
That's crazy. Let that sink in.
I almost jumped up and left. Now
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
well, this your studio.
Yeah, and that's comparing humans to like chimpanzees.
Ooh.
So
Black people don't like to hear that.
no, I know. I'm just gonna be real with you.
Did he just call us monkey?
No.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I didn't call y'all monkeys.
Okay, right.
Just
That's not what he said on the
Veil
start.
dashes. I don't
Right.
That's not what I
Be
said.
inboxing me, man.
Yeah.
I'm not a vegan. I get at you.
But
I mean,
facts.
hey, I'm black too, so I ain't cussing
Right.
you. Right.
Let me ask you this though, and,
Yeah.
and
My
I'm sorry if I'm
ammunition right
interrupting
here.
you. I want
No,
you-
no.
Okay, because when you talk about a 1%, right?
Yeah.
This is something I learned when I was doing construction, right?
Okay.
So you can have a 1% discrepancy,
Yeah.
and for a short time, right, it's just a 1% discrepancy.
Mhm.
But the longer it goes, the more that 1% discrepancy, right? So in a 10-year period or whatever the 1% discrepancy is, but when you're talking 2,000 years later, the 1% discrepancy becomes something greater than it was.
That's cool. So you're talking in terms of like evolutionary change, if anything.
Well, because we've been going through this for a few hundred years now, right?
Mhm.
So yes, sir.
That's a good question. I mean, so here's how I see evolutionary change as a whole. With regards to the diet, okay, let me think before I actually answer this question.
Take your time, brother.
And please, and
Ain't that what they say in church? Take your time, brother.
Iron sharpens iron.
You be like, I'm
brother,
ready to
right?
go.
You good.
Listen the whole game. Don't take your
I
time,
was
brother.
sort of like, hold my words and like. catch
No,
my
you don't
words
want
and,
to
like,
give
you
it.
know,
Ain't nothing
compose
wrong
them.
with giving thought before you speak. More of us need to do that. You know what I mean?
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay. So with regards to like evolutionary change and stuff like that,
Yes, sir.
that like go functions on the scale of like thousands of years.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm going to say is like at this point in time, like right now, when it comes to like food or like things that certain races should eat, in my opinion and from my study, there isn't like a huge difference in like when it comes to like healthy food and eating. If the amount of vitamin C needed by let's say a white person, for the same age, because once again it varies based on your body composition and stuff, right? So let's say the amount of calories, like let's just talk in terms of weight gain and weight loss now. Let's just make it basic. For two people of different races that have the same body composition, with regards to height, age, weight, shape,
Mhm.
the same amount of food is going to affect both people the same way, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying?
I think the only question that I would have
Mm-hmm.
is because I notice a very, very, very serious fundamental difference between us and, say, white people. Our bodies naturally produce and maintain melanin.
No, melanin is different, though. Yes, I agree. That's the genetic
I would think
difference.
that there's a vast difference in our biology if we are resistant to diseases that they are susceptible to. If we have this layer of skin that regenerates itself and is resistant to the sun, which is the most powerful thing in the universe, I would think there's a really different biological makeup. And not only that, because if we talk about diets, we talk about what makes sugar. Starch makes sugar.
Yeah.
Asians eat a lot of rice, which is a lot of sugar. They eat a lot of sugar itself. Their bodies, but at the same time, most of them are diminutive. They don't get to be, they're not a lot of big Asians, right? Mm-hmm. So that's their sugar and they process, and that's how their bodies work. White people eat sausage and egg, cheese, and pork just like us. Mm-hmm. But their bodies don't produce melanin. It doesn't, one of the reasons why diabetes is so prevalent is because Black people live on a heightened fight or flight existence every day.
Absolutely.
So our pancreas is basically short out because that's what secretes the hormone that brings forth adrenaline, right? And if you Black, you always got to be on guard. Like I drive through green lights slow like this in Milwaukee, right?
For sure.
And I got to watch the police. I got to make sure I don't let this money get the economic disparity.
And your people, right?
So it's a heightened sense of awareness, and it makes us. That's why the diabetes is so crucial for us, and the diet with the sodium and all that doesn't help it. But I said all that to say, I would think on a really bottom line biological study, I would think there has to be at least some differences in our muscles. As Jimmy the Greek said, their muscles are thicker. Their thighs are thicker.
Their bones.
That's why more Black women got big booties than more white women. Right. Not to take it there, but think of how Black women are naturally shaped versus how white women are naturally.
And there are also some things that we're susceptible to as a people too, like when you talk about sickle cell, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so when you have white people that
which is man-made,
well, possibly, but when you have white people that do people that are scientists and whatnot that do experiments, they do on white mice, right? And they come up for cures for these diseases and these things that they give to the white mice, but the white mice is a recessive mouse. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to a dominant.
Right. Genetically,
right? So genetically, the same thing that's going to work on a white mouse, it's not going to work on a black or brown or gray mouse. You see what I'm saying? And so there are differences.
I'll just opinion.
I bring up a good
hypothesis.
I like that.
I'm glad you mentioned this because like all what you're saying, it can all be circled back to evolution, and this is what I mean by that.
Yes, sir.
So I'll be honest with you. In the beginning, like before people, I don't know where, I'll be honest, like I don't exactly know where man started from, but wherever man started.
You want a croissant?
No, Crescent Valley. I mean,
oh, okay.
According to carbon testing.
There you go.
Not my whole original
not Adam and Eve. Not.
Let the brother finish. You're not being a good host.
You good.
I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
You just rude.
So talking in terms of evolution, right? This is what I mean by that. So in the beginning, when the first people, the first group of men and women settled down,
yes, sir.
We all had the same conditions we were exposed to. The same amount of sunlight, the same amount of radiation, the same foods, the same environment, stuff like that. So over time, people migrated to different parts of the earth, right? Geography is different. Some regions have more sunlight. Like where I come from back home in Nigeria, we get more sunlight on average than in the US.
Because that's like Milwaukee.
Yeah, we're pretty much in the equator.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So skin color, to be honest, is actually a result of a form of evolution we call genetic drift.
Yeah, and I like that.
I mean, I'm going to break that down.
Mm-hmm.
So what genetic drift is pretty much a form of evolution that comes down to random chance, right? and chance events such as like, migration or movement. So take for instance, right? Black people originally, like, we all come from the equator, the African continent. That's our home. That's where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of sunlight there requires us to produce more melanin.
Okay.
Evolutionarily speaking, because if we do not have that, melanin is what protects us from the ultraviolet rays.
That's why I said we people of the sun. We
Mhm.
resist
Exactly. So we're
burn.
resistant to it.
Right.
On the other hand, people who move to other,
Not only are we resistant, we are receptive to it, right? It's not that our melanin repels it. Our melanin accepts it.
Well, you see how
absorbs
black people act.
Absorbs it, yes.
You see how black people act in the spring. They done been in the house all winter. They ain't getting that vitamin D. They're not getting that sunlight like they should. It brings a different kind of energy. When the sun shines, black people cook outside. They grill.
Listen,
I'm serious.
We're at our prime.
The crime goes up
if you
because
ever-
people don't go to sleep. They up all night. As soon as it come winter, black people like, oh.
if you ever been in jail, right? And they deprived you of knowing when the sun was coming up and when the sun was going down. After you've been there so long, that in itself drives you crazy.
Okay.
And when you get to a point where there's no windows and you don't know when the sunlight. Like,
yeah, that's why like a psychological.
It absolutely is psychological.
Yeah.
So it plays a bigger part. And I like what you're saying. I'm saying that I think there may be some differences.
No, I agree. Don't get me wrong. Like that, like 0.0001%. Like
Yes, sir. Yes.
Of our genetic, like we have like 1 billion genes.
Yes.
So that in itself is a lot of genes that are different.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is like we're actually more similar than different.
Okay.
So back to the evolutionary thing.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to like so I already explained why people on the African continent have darker skin, because genetically and environmentally we're exposed to more sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
So our body requires us to produce more melanin because that's what's going to help us survive the ultraviolet radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Black people haven't originated from Africa for the most part. That gene was passed down from parent to child through generations.
Dominant.
After evolutionary, conditions took place.
Yes.
On the other hand, when people migrated out of wherever man started from, I don't know, whether
two different theories.
different theories. So, I don't know. You may be right. You never know.
Ask Puffy.
No, don't ask Puffy. Nah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's say people who moved to North America or like Alaska, places where there wasn't a lot of sunlight. Their skin cells didn't need to produce as much melanin because they didn't have the pressure of ultraviolet radiation on them. And there's something that our body does, and it's not just the human being, all organisms do this. It's called a location of energy location. So our body is not going to waste energy producing melanin if we don't need it, if that makes sense.
Right.
So people who moved to places where there wasn't a lot of sunlight, their body would rather use energy to do something else than produce melanin because there is no deep need for it. And don't get me wrong, everybody actually has melanin. Just so you know, Black people just have a lot more of it.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but my question would be this then, if that's true.
Yeah.
When the white man who comes here from England, who's pasty white, lives in the South for 4 generations, hundreds of years, why not then are his descendants have darker skin? They still are pasty white.
That's a good question.
I was actually going to ask that.
No,
their bodies have yet to say, hey, we need a little bit more melanin up here.
That's a good
But
question.
Black people come in this variation of melanin in which some of us are navy blue and some of us are DeBarge yellow, right? So, but at the same time, even that light-skinned DeBarge can take more sun than a white man. Is that making sense? Because you laughing at me.
I'm laughing because your references are
like the colors, like
you don't
DeBarge yellow,
you don't like hell. But no, so
I'm just saying, I believe that it's deeper than that. And the only reason I believe it's deeper than that is because there was once a thing called Panacea, which was one big, huge landmass that was on this planet.
Oh, you're talking about Pangea.
Pangea.
Yeah,
Pangea. I'm sorry, I said Panacea.
Yeah.
I was thinking about panties.
No, you're fine.
I mean Pangea. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Pangea.
My wife is watching. Pangea. But it was just one big landmass.
Yeah,
right?
like all the continents.
Right. And then supposedly, theoretically, it broke apart and each thing
Well, yeah,
went
the
their
continent.
right. It
Yeah.
went their own way. But Inuits who live in the North Pole or Alaska, they tend to have darker skin too, but they have snow most of the time. Alaskans have darker skin than European white people, and it's colder. And they have a period of darkness in Alaska. What is it dark in Alaska? Like 4 months? It's like dark, like for 4 months straight. They don't have like a daytime.
And they commit suicide because they don't see the sun.
That's
Real talk. They lead them. Real talk. It's an epidemic.
This
of
is a
suicide 'cause they don't see
conversation
the
worth
sun.
exploring. I really would like to know more about, like even what you saying with energy
But-
location, because that's interesting too.
No, I wrote that down. It's something I'm gonna look. I'm gonna study.
Allocation, like
Right.
movement of resources.
That's what's
Yes,
up. I
yes.
like it.
I misspell a lot of
No,
stuff.
you're good.
but,
Glad you admit
but I
it.
did. Yeah, it's on my paper. No one else is supposed to read it. But there. If you've ever been to Florida, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I've been to Florida, and I experienced in Florida a black-white man. And when I say that, it's a white man. He's clearly white. His hair is white. His features are white, but his skin is so dark that he is darker than some black people that I know. But clearly, he's not black.
Right.
He's a dark white man.
And you sure he was white?
Well, first of all, it wasn't one person. It was a
family.
There's a group
Oh,
of a number of people that I saw.
Them the black whites.
And-
Hey,
and-
black
and
whites.
when I real talk,
When they come to town.
I will give them a slang name, but clearly the nose, the lips, you know what I'm saying, their hair, their features are of white people, but some of them were darker than you and I. You know what I mean?
You sure they weren't Cuban?
Wait,
Or Indian, because sometimes they can get really
Right.
dark.
but
in
but they
real
could have been, but that still all plays into the point, right?
life. True, yeah.
Even you can be a dark skinned person and still not have the essence of what I want to say descendants of Africans have. The nose that's going to allow you to breathe in the oxygen. The lips that are going to be thick, which they call monkey lips. But if you look at a monkey's lips are very thin.
Very
But
thin.
more like them than us.
And
But
they laugh at us and then they get Botox put in their mouth to have our
to try to be like a, but the point is, like, even though you have dark skin, there's still an essence, right? There's still something different that different. Where you can be from the Caucasus Mountains into 5 generations in Florida and have dark skin, but you still don't have the essence of what someone that comes from your homeland would have.
And I think that's where genetic variation comes into play, because, like, once again, human beings as a race, we have a lot of, like, variation. We have a lot of variation among us. So, obviously when it comes to, like, finding partners, mating, people interbreed, like people move to different.
Some brothers will hit anything.
Yeah.
Don't care about the gene pool. No, you shouldn't have did that with her. That little baby gonna look weird.
Damn you brothers in Dakota.
Get your ass after the show. Get outside.
Yeah, so people move from, like, different countries, different, like, that can be like what I mean. I'm a guy from Nigeria. I came here. My wife is American.
A brother and a sister, though.
Listen.
Don't get me
This
wrong.
alcohol,
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I agree with that. But, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's more like an example. Like, okay, let's say, okay, I came here and married, like, a Hispanic lady or something like that. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So what you with a white lady?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, water down the gene pool.
No, how would you feel?
Like I feel like seeing you and this sister. I feel like the child from this union, if there ever is one, God bless y'all.
No, there will be.
one. I
There will be
don't know.
multiple.
From the outside
Like I
looking
told you,
in.
I weigh my food. We having kids. We having kids.
From
We all
the
good.
from the outside looking
But I'm
in,
saying,
it
I
makes
think-
us feel good.
Right, and I think that child,
yeah,
child will be black. Like I think that child will feel empowered. Never will that child feel insecure or anything about his or her skin. They'll be like, my daddy from Nigeria and my mama from the north side of Milwaukee. What?
Yeah.
Right, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Have a dance off? Switchblade? So I feel like this is more what we should be on. This is just my opinion.
Okay. I respect that.
And I'm gonna respect y'all time because we do got to go. We're gonna talk about the seminar 3041.
Let's do that.
My whole point with all this is I really feel like if we reinvested in us, just with us, and just kept putting black on black on black, some of those diseases that they're afflicted by wouldn't matriculate into our gene pool. Some of the osteoporosis and this brain rotten,
Alzheimer's,
and all these genetic, like all this kind of stuff creeps into our gene pool when we go and get white women, or we think, well, she's Latino, but it's okay, or she's Irish, but she's Jewish. You can do that because it's on you, because you the one who got to sleep with her, and everybody deserves the right to be miserable. So marry who you want. I'm just saying, we as Black people should be more selective in reinforcing our genetics, and I think we'd be a healthier people for it. Is what I'm saying.
You have something to say?
No, so, yeah, I actually just have 2 points. Actually, I agree with that. I think you have a really good point. I also want to let people know that at the end of the day, when it comes down to the human physiology, genetics is important, but don't also forget the role the environment and the lifestyle plays in it as well.
Listen,
that's true. You got me.
Yeah, because think about it. Okay, for instance, let's take your Alzheimer's example, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who tend to read more, or even exercise more, eat better, live a healthier lifestyle, even though you have the genetics that would make you more prone to Alzheimer's, you may not necessarily end up having Alzheimer's your entire life because your lifestyle has, it's actually something called epigenetics. And this is what epigenetics works with. It's pretty much the ability of certain genetic markers or the effects of certain genes to be masked, or totally hidden because of environmental factors. If that makes sense.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so you may have the gene, but the gene is turned off because of what you're doing good. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
So before we get into what you guys got going on coming up and everything, I just want to say this though. As far as a salad, it's good. You want the greens, you want some carrots, you want some peas, you want some radishes. That's great.
Peas in that salad.
But the point is, but as far as a farmer goes, right?
Yeah.
The farmer grows the potatoes with the potatoes, and the carrots with the carrots, and the cabbage with the cabbage. You see what I'm saying? So while at the end of the day, we should be able to all come together in the salad. Fact of the matter, as we come up, as we grow, as we receive nutrients, as we receive lessons, as we learn, they're individual to who we are and what we are.
Very nice point.
I want to thank this brother. I would love to have you all back.
Had a ball.
And
That was nice.
sorry, are you about to conclude?
Well, I'm gonna let you. I always give everybody a chance to close out. I just want to make sure I say this. I really appreciate you all coming through.
Thank you.
I think excellent job representing. And like I always love when people enlighten my supporters and the followers of the show. So I wanted to put that out there. So go ahead, brother. Let's go drop the jewel on it.
Yeah, and the second point, since I had mentioned my first point, I said I had two. I also wanted to inform you guys, and this is actually something special for the ladies in the community.
Okay.
On the 28th, this is our second seminar, right? On the 26th, actually, of October, we have another seminar. That's a month back, but that seminar is actually going to focus on breast cancer awareness.
Oh, yes.
Which I feel like is a really sentimental and emotional topic for a lot of Black women. So, at that on that day, we're actually planning to invite a couple of nurses, and we're trying to actually find a way to provide a link to free mammograms. We're actually reaching out to a local, I think they're a local clinic that does free mammograms and stuff like that. So we're trying to collaborate with them, and work with them so that we could actually plug the community into that, so that they could get free screening and know what's going on before it's too late, if anything.
That's it.
So babe, you could actually talk about that.
Also to add in general, because I know you said you wasn't sure what your schedule for the first seminar, but we always will have a monthly seminar. So it's
every month.
Yes. So the topics will be different. So for example, our first month is on Basic Health 101. Our second seminar, October, is on breast cancer awareness, and then the topic will be different each month. So there's always something that you can come and learn. We'll be changing up the topics, even asking for some suggestions as well. And did you want to add to that?
Yeah. So pretty much I feel the seminar, once again, is focused on breast cancer, something for the ladies, something for the women. We're actually having. Oh, sorry. You can ask your question.
I have a question, because I know the brother that plays Shaft. He had breast cancer.
Yeah,
I was going to add that.
She was actually going to add that. Okay. Yeah, she was actually going to add that.
But it's not just for
ladies.
Yes.
No. Yeah. Did you really bring up Richard Brown?
I did, because they were talking about breast cancer.
And that's the only dude anybody ever.
That's the only man that I know of that I can say his name, and he had breast cancer.
No, men do get breast cancer too. I agree. So yeah, what she was actually saying, and thank you for reminding me, babe, but it's not just a seminar for only women.
Yeah,
I mean,
still,
yeah, I mean, guys, show up too. I mean, bring your wife. Obviously, if she's currently going through that, we have guidance counseling sessions to help her, transition emotionally and stuff. So pretty much, we actually also have a guest speaker, Dr. Pfeiffer. So she's actually like an experienced teaching nurse. We're flying her out from Texas.
okay.
So she's gonna be one of like
So come and get this
yes.
knowledge.
So come and get this knowledge.
Yeah, come
We
on.
gonna promote it though.
Listen,
Yeah.
We gonna put it.
I'm
hey,
gonna be there.
I'm the Negro whisperer for a reason. I know how to talk to my people. Okay, we're gonna get all this information out. Let's get it cracking on the 28th.
Okay,
Yeah.
the October. Okay, the one for September or the one
September.
For
Yes.
yeah, September 21st.
Yes.
Yeah.
1 to 3, live at 3041 North.
Saturday.
You're gonna have this put in your face so many times between now and then. It ain't gonna make no sense. It's all about doing for the people and building our community.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I'm glad you all were able to come in tonight and give us a little change of pace, because y'all know we like bad kids around here. Like, we really need people to come in to make sense sometimes. Because me and this dude would just go at it for like and cuss and
arguing all the time.
So y'all don't watch the show. So, yeah. So we've been on our best behavior tonight, man. I want to thank my brother.
Yeah.
What's your name, bro?
Tobey.
And my sister
Miranda.
and Miranda.
And I apologize for I called it the wrong thing.
Oh, you're fine.
But she straightened it out quick.
Yes, she
Not
did.
me.
No.
Not me.
She did.
Wrong one.
Right.
I don't cook crab. Shout out to Miss
Love.
Chef Monique Brown was watching. Shout out to her.
Nice.
Shout out to all the supporters of Outlaw Radio and the People's Network and the Warrior Report. We will be on. We'll be off tomorrow night, but Saturday night we're going to close this week. I actually have a young rapper, upcoming rapper from the city.
We get to see the hip hop snob come on out too, right?
Hip hop snob will be in effect on Saturday night. And I really got to talk Saturday night because my boy Lord Jamar went off and talked about female rappers and all this kind of stuff. So
Lord Jamar anointed us.
No, I love Lord Jamar.
Relax, dude.
No, come on.
I want to appointed you to speak the spokesperson.
We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
I mess with Lord Jamar. Shout out to Miss Serena Brown. Thank you for the inspiration for the group. Thank you for putting this all together.
For the support.
And the support. And shout out to my brother Keith Terry, who is the proprietor of 3040 North. Please get on that man's timeline. I'm telling you, you haven't seen a facility like it. And I'm fortunate enough to have seen it from when he first purchased the whole entire complex years ago to what it is now.
Man.
So I'm telling y'all, hold on like a hubcap in the fast lane to maintain everything gonna be straight.
Hey.
And I will end the show tonight by quoting the great Willie Dennis, who is currently running for office in Houston, Texas.
All right.
If you've ever heard of him, his name is Willie
D.
But he once said something very profound. He said, if your criticism of the black community outweighs your contribution, you're probably a coon.
Hey.
I see you Saturday night.
Peace. Great show, people.
Yeah, that was splendid.
Oh, man,
That was
that was
fun.
great.
Very nice show. That was fun.
You just want to make him sure he turns off everything before you
Before you start cussing people out.
Right.
Motherfucker, if you didn't cut me off,
Right, yeah,
I didn't
we
get
can
to
have
talk
that
about it.
conversation.